What if I told you there was an electric car in 1913 that could drive up to 100 miles in silence while your top hat and tuxedo stayed perfectly wrinkle-free? Ladies and gentlemen, and my friend Timmy, let me take you back to a time when electricity wasn't just for lighting cigars or electrocuting your cousin's cat by accident. No, in 1913, some people were already driving silent, battery-powered coaches around cities, while the rest of the world was still arguing whether horses should have their own lanes. And right in the middle of that horseless carriage revolution stood the Waverley Electric Model 93 Brougham, the electric car so refined even your snobby neighbor who irons his shoelaces would approve. Now, before we dive in, I want to give a warm thank you to the everyday legends who support this channel. That's right. Not big corporations or shady crypto schemes, but real folks who believe in what we do here. Some of you chipped in a few bucks for coffee, others sent kind messages, and some just kept watching and clicking like it's a morning ritual. You're the reason we get to keep telling weird car stories instead of selling essential oils from a van. So seriously, thank you. All right, buckle up, because this isn't your average antique. The Waverley 93 wasn't just a car, it was the whispering butler of early motoring. Smooth, silent, and so clean you could eat oysters off the floor mats. The Model 93 Brougham was born in 1912 in the industrial stews of Indianapolis, USA. It was built by the Waverly Company, a firm with more name changes than a con artist at a tax office, originally linked to Pope Waverly under the bicycle tycoon Colonel Albert Pope. Because who better to build electric cars than a guy obsessed with pedals? The company eventually broke off on its own after Pope's empire nosedived harder than Timmy at his cousin's pool party. Why did they build it? Simple. Rich city folk wanted a car that didn't sound like a dying moose. Gasoline cars were loud, dirty, and required more cranking than a gym rat with a protein shake addiction. Waverly said, "What if we give people something that starts without a pulled muscle and doesn't make your clothes smell like chimney sweep?" The Model 93 was targeted at doctors, businessmen, elegant ladies, and anyone else who wanted the luxury of silence and dignity while being driven at, well, jogging speed. Waverly's clientele included celebs like Diamond Jim Brady, Madam C.J. Walker, and even Thomas Edison himself. Yeah, the guy who electrified America drove a Waverly. That's like Elon Musk riding a Segway to Mars. Now let's talk guts. The Waverley Model 93 was powered by DC electric motor pushing out about 3.5 to 4 horsepower. That may not sound like much for 1913, it was enough to outpace most politicians' honesty. Top speed? A wind-slicing 20 miles per hour, 32 kilometers per hour. And yet somehow, it felt sprightly, especially when compared to the horse it replaced, which had no reverse gear. The batteries were massive lead-acid beasts, probably weighing over 1,000 pounds, 450 plus kilograms. Advertised range, 80 to 100 miles, 129 to 161 kilometers if you didn't use the electric heater, play music, or breathe too heavily. In real terms, around 40 to 50 miles of comfy, fume-free gliding through the city. This was no Flintstones car, folks. The motor was connected to the rear wheels through simple gearing. No gear shifts, no clutch, no drama. You turned a tiller, yes, like a boat, and it moved. Timmy tried driving one once, ended up turning left into a bakery, then right into a lawsuit. The chassis combined good old-fashioned wood and reinforced steel like a handshake between a carpenter and a blacksmith. It rolled on leaf springs and rode atop artillery wheels wrapped in classy white-wall pneumatic tires, because even in 1913, showing up without style was considered a personal failure. The brakes? Strictly mechanical and only on the rear wheels, because back then, stopping was more of a polite suggestion than a guarantee. And here's the kicker. This baby had electric lights, a voltmeter, and even a convertible top option. That's right. A removable hardtop in 1913. Tesla, eat your heart out. Here's what I loved the most, the fake gasoline hood. Yeah, Waverly added a bonnet just to make it look like a regular petrol car. And the silence? Oh boy. Waverly even used herringbone gears to reduce noise and rubber mounting on the motor. This thing was quieter than a politician after Election Day. One ad even bragged, "Delicate gowns not marred." That's right. Your Victorian evening dress wouldn't be ruined by soot, oil, or Timmy's clumsy fingers trying to open the wrong door. Some even say Waverly owners would borrow juice from streetcar lines when they ran out of battery. Sounds wild, but hey, better than asking Bob for help, who believes charging your car attracts government drones. One fire department even bought a Waverley Electric fire engine. Imagine rolling to a blaze at 20 miles per hour, while yelling, "Please stop burning until we arrive." Back in 1913, a Model 93 would have set you back $2,150. For context, a Ford Model T was about $600, so this thing was 3 times more expensive and 10 times fancier. In today's money, roughly $65,000, or about 60,000 euros. And the modern value? One pristine Model 93, chassis no 5354, sold in 2024 at a Macomb auction for $40,000, around 37,000 euros. That car had been in the same family for nearly a century. The average Model 93 today? Around $40,000, but good luck finding one. They're rarer than a plumber who shows up on time. If you loved this deep dive into silent motoring history, give that subscribe button a gentle electric nudge. Like a Waverly on full charge, quiet but unstoppable. And remember, folks, if Timmy offers to upgrade your EV battery with leftover beer cans and jumper cables, run. Stay curious, stay classy, and keep your tiller straight.